So, what a weekend. First of all, I cannot believe that we just finished the state volleyball tournament and fall sports are officially over. We're going to have Coach Cravens with us today to talk quite a bit about the tournament. But, just to recap really quickly, the girls opened up with Vale Christian, and they came to play. Vale Christian did. Yep. It took 5 sets. They got it done. The second game was actually against the defending state champions and then the 2022 state champions, Sedgwick County. They're good. Not only are they super tall, Right, but they're good. They're fast. They're quick. They cover the court well. They are super fun to watch. Their crowd gets into it. That was unfortunately a heartbreaker for the team. Then we went into the quarterfinals, and that was the nice thing about the new bracket this year is even if you lost, you could still make it to the championship game. And I really personally like that bracket style. I wish that some of the other sports, obviously football maybe not, but basketball could go to something like that. Wrestling could definitely go to something like that. It's really, really nice. So they went on to play St. Mary's. St. Mary's had been playing tough the entire weekend. I had never actually heard of St. Mary's. And so I still have no idea where it's even at, but we got them done. I think one of the sets was 28-26. It was 25-23. I mean, super close the entire time. And then our final game was against Fowler. And Fowler their crowd is so much fun. Their people are so kind from Fowler. They had beat Wiggins in 4.
And that was an incredible game.
It was an incredible game, and it was fun to watch. Wiggins lost. Yeah. And we posted the last score on Coffee with Coaches. I took a video, and we posted their Fowler's winning score, and it was great. They're good. They have a girl, I don't know what her number was.
9. Number 9.
9. Wow.
And a lefty, which made it even more difficult.
Yes, and she was amazing. I mean, they don't just have her. Their libero was fabulous. St. Mary's libero was also fabulous. Man, she barely let anything drop. And it was just, those two teams all the teams were fun to watch. The state tournament was actually really fabulous. Just speaking of and kind of digressing from our own classification, you were there for a little bit. Did you get to watch Fowler Christian and 5A play?
I did not. Oh, Valor Christian. I thought you were saying Fowler.
Oh, no, Valor.
Valor.
Yeah.
No, I didn't get to watch them.
I think that they might all be like above 6 feet tall.
It doesn't surprise me.
And I think that the one girl might have been 6'5". She was gigantic. Not like gigantic, but like super tall.
Right.
And wow, they went on to win it as well. I think Thompson Valley won in 4A. Lamar went on to win, didn't they?
Lamar won theirs.
Yeah, see, and that's the cool thing. Like Lamar was undefeated going into the state tournament. I don't know what happened their first game. That team, whoever they played, came out to win. They lost, and then they battled all the way back. When you win in the beginning of the state tournament, well, actually, they didn't play the first round. They would have played the second round.
Right.
But they had to play 2 extra games to get to that championship match. So that was interesting. And then in 1A, did Marino win?
Yeah, and what's funny with that one is because right before we were going to play Fowler and when we were going to play Sedgwick County, so early on, Marino and Fleming played earlier.
Yes, I watched that game.
Fleming beat Marino.
Right.
And then back in the state championship game, Marino beats Fleming.
Yes.
So it's cool that it's able to do that.
And it's really cool. Those two teams are like right next to each other, like geographically.
Yeah.
I bet they
less
play
than an hour apart from each other.
I bet they play each other all the time.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah. And so that was fun. The whole state tournament was great. The atmosphere was wonderful. And we'll talk a little bit about Coach Cravens' award that he got. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to switch hats a little bit and shift gears to winter sports. Today is Monday and they're opening today. You have practice today unless you're on a volleyball player.
Everybody show up today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Unless you're on the volleyball, a varsity volleyball player. And so, it was super fun. We'll talk about that and talk with Coach Kindler as athletic director and how the classifications have changed. And Well, I guess let's get to Coach Craven.
Sounds good.
Crystal Meadow Farms is family owned and operated, offering a wide range of CBD products. Coming from 5 generations of farming, Crystal Meadow Farms offers farm-to-table products. In-house CBD extraction using beverage-grade CO2 since 2019. They create a CBD oil without the use of harmful chemicals. Their retail products are handcrafted using organic and natural ingredients and are some of the strongest on the market. They offer a range of CBD tinctures, spa products, a pet line, gummies for day and night, and a large line of topicals.
Well, Greg, thank you, Coach Cravens. Thank you for coming in this morning. I cannot believe that volleyball season is over. And talk about something to be proud of. We don't know the final position yet, but definitely top 4 in the state. Amazing.
Yeah, me and Rich were just talking. This team getting to the semifinals, and I didn't even think of this. Rich told me we lost. The 2 losses we had were to the state champion and the state runner-up.
Yep.
So, I mean, I couldn't be prouder of what these kids have accomplished over the season and what we did this weekend. Those kids just kept battling. I had a group of kids that just wanted to be there and just played their little rears off. And it was just great to be able to be down there sitting with them and watching them go. I couldn't be prouder of what we've done this weekend.
Yeah, I took Coach Bergman with me, brought her down, hauled her down. She had a lot of fun, and she was like, what? Only 12 teams make it to state? That in and of itself is a big deal.
Right. Yeah, and 2A has 76 teams.
Yes.
That are competing for those 12 spots. So to be in the top 4, to be seeded 3 going in, just tells you what kind of heart these kids have and how hard we had to work this year. So It was a great accomplishment.
I think if I had to pick one thing, I would say that unfortunately our strength of schedule, just because of our location, is probably what hindered the team the most. They haven't been down but 2 games the whole year.
Yeah.
And those other 3 teams are all in strong schedules.
I agree. I mean, we do the best we can, and we had Western Slope had 10 teams in regionals. We had 3 teams that made it to state. So it's building here. It's getting so much better. Our weekend schedule, league schedule is getting much better than it was. But you're right. I mean, Sedgwick County, Wiggins, those teams are going against that caliber of team every week. And then Fowler comes out of the Santa Fe League, and it's the same thing. They are coming out of every night. They have to be ready to play because those teams are coming out after each other. And they were bigger and physical, and we just don't match up against that very well. And so we continue to work here. That's why we picked up the Denver Christian tournament. That's why we picked up the Buena Vista tournament. So at least we're seeing it 2 weekends out of the year. So when we go down there, we're not going, oh, they jump high. You know what I mean? So we're building, and it's Western Slope is building. It's getting better. So I think with North Fork being back down in 2A, it just makes us better all around. And we'll continue building until we get one of those state championships.
Yeah. Of course, Emma performed well. She's all over the court. Yeah. She gives 110%. I was talking to her dad, and he's like, well, in that first game, he's like, well, Emma did take a couple plays off. And I'm like,
her taking a couple of plays off is a little bit different than those people taking it.
You're exactly right. Yeah. She may not be jumping as high or something, but the amount of attempts that kid takes that we put her in, the pressure that we put her on, she just keeps going. She's the Energizer Bunny. She just keeps going. And I'm so proud of how well she did this week or this whole year. Because, we can all say that we're getting better, but we put a lot of pressure on Emma. And, there was one time this whole season that she wasn't on the court. And I was like, this is what it's going to be like next year. And I'm not going to be able to say, well, just get the ball to Emma. and we're going to be fine. So that kid takes on a lot of pressure, and so proud that she was able to handle it all weekend. And I mean, I can't even imagine how much she takes, like on social media. Kids are, FaceTiming or Snapchatting. I don't know what all those things are.
They're doing things.
Are getting a hold of her all the time. And as we walk down the arena, people are stopping her. Oh my God, are you number 13? And all this kind of stuff. So she takes on so much stuff that I probably can't even fathom. So for her to handle everything the way she does is awesome. And I'm very blessed to have had her for 4 years.
And then if we look to the younger girls, I guess the number one thing that stood out with me was, first of all, they didn't let a lot drop in the number 4 slot.
We didn't.
That was really nice.
We scrambled defensively this weekend. We really did.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think we held our own with all of them. So.
And then the blocking. Addie, Reese, and Ainsley.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Nora too, of course, but speaking of the younger girls, wow, they really picked it up this week.
I agree. And I mean, to what we were saying earlier, it's seeing that bigger hit, that's seeing that they're making contact higher. We got to change our block a little bit. Fowler had a lefty that we don't see a lot of lefties around here, so you have to adjust how you block that kid. And Reese, it was down in Buena Vista. We'd been working all year long, and then she finally got a big girl block. I mean, I saw her hands up over the net, and she was reaching across, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I mean, Addie's getting stronger every day. Hopefully we'll get her in the weight room more this summer, get her upper body a little bit stronger. Blocking, I think we were great. Ainsley, for some reason, for the last 2 weekends, has just brought it. It's just incredible. She is way up there, and she's blocking nice and strong. It's great to see. So I mean, we got some things coming. I know I don't have an Emma coming, and I hadn't for the last 21 years, so I got to go back to that. But we got some kids coming, so I'm really looking forward to what we got.
Right. But both Ainsley and Ellie, I mean, just some quiet leadership on the team. Tons of composure, tons of grace out there playing. They take the pressure well, and that's huge.
That is very huge. St. Mary's game, Gracie was not having a very good game. She was putting tons of pressure on herself, and Ainsley was the kid that she turned to just calm her down and get her in the right mindset and stuff like that. And Ainsley is incredible at that. She is just so calming. I mean, we all know Mr. Selly and how he's just boom, that's the way he's going to be the whole time. And Ainsley has that trait that we could all just go to her and she's just, we're going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And Gracie turned to her a lot this weekend because Gracie felt a lot of pressure, and Ainsley was there for her every time to help her out.
Yes. Well, it was fun to watch. Every game was fun, and I surely enjoyed being there. And
I know you guys thought it was fun, but that game against Vale Christian couldn't have been more nerve-wracking than holy moly. Those kids, Vale Christian brought it this weekend. Those kids should be proud of what they did because, man, they just kept coming and they just kept hitting, and holy moly,
They wanted
nervous.
They wanted it.
They did, and their coaches and Energizer Bunny, before the match, she's shaking my hand. Okay, coach, let's get ready for this. And then afterwards, after we won, I mean, I'm just dead tired. And she grabs my hand. Oh, we almost had you. And I'm like, oh, geez, if you were out in the court, we probably would have. Holy moly, that lady she's going all the time.
Yes, that was nice. Actually, those coaches, I think we got this round of state tournament, the coaches on the opposite side were great this year.
I agree. I think all of the teams were great. We were at the all-state meetings yesterday morning, and we just all get to sit around and talk about the weekend and all the pressure's off and stuff like that. And the Wiggins and Sedgwick coaches are great coaches, and it's just good to sit around and talk to other coaches, and how they had, what struggles they had and how they handled it. It's just, I I mean, at 26 years, I'm still learning from other people and going, oh, man, I should do that next year. So I just love those opportunities. And all those guys, the St. Mary's coach was a great lady. Another lady that just had tons of energy. We were all dead yesterday, and she's in there, oh, I can't believe this and that. I'm like, oh, geez, I can't keep up with these people anymore.
Well, we won't ask you about Allstate. I know you guys have your banquet, I believe, on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And so you'll announce that, and then we can talk about it later.
Yeah, I can tell you that Emma is going to be on the Colorado girls sports all-state game this Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She got elected to that, and when I talked to her last night, she was planning on going down there and do that. So that is down in Fort Collins. She practices Saturday, and then it's just all the top seniors in the state. So she goes down and practices on Saturday, and then they have a match on Sunday. So great honor for her, and I'm sure she's going to have a great time. She got a kid from West Grand is on there, a kid from North Fork's on there. So I'm sure they're going to have a great time. I mean, when the twins went down there, and Julia and Tatum got to go down there last year, it's always a good time because all those kids are just love playing volleyball, and you're just on the court with them, and make some great friendships that you'll have forever now. So
yeah,
I love that.
Good. Well, thank you so much.
No,
And
wait, did you get an award?
Oh, you did.
What?
The Pioneer Award?
Yes,
What award was this?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. It was the Pioneer Award, correct?
Yes. So Chaska always recognizes a coach that's been in it for a few years, that helps other people and all that kind of stuff. And then they have a New Horizon Award, which is for like a first-year coach who's just, starting up. And I've always thought that that's the award that I would like to get. And then they give me the Pioneer Award, and I go, oh, geez, that just means I'm old is really all that means. But it's, I mean, to that point, so I'm down at state this year. I had 2 kids that were at university when I coached there that are now coaching. I have my setter from Custer County when I was there. She's now the head coach at Custer County. When I come in the gym, I tell the kids, I have a passion for volleyball, and it's going to ooze out on you. I'm sorry, that just happens. But then I want you to take this, love the game, and then go and take it to someone else. And I just love going down to state because I get to see all those kids that are now coaching, and I couldn't be proud. That's what I'm proud of, is that kids are taking the game farther and things like that. So yeah, they awarded me Saturday night with the Pioneer Award, and just a great honor. I mean, the guy that got Coach of the Year is now coaching at university, and he started coaching, it's probably 10, maybe 15 years now. And he, I was actually his assistant coach for club one year. So we've been coaching together for a long time. So it was just an honor to be down there with him, getting those awards. So it was a great experience.
Well, that explains a lot, because university was really cheering for Meeker.
And
I was like, why? It's university. Okay, now we know that connection.
We now have some siblings of the kids I coached are now going through the system. So, yeah, we all know each other. And last year we were down at state, and university was on one court, and we were on the other, and 2 girls that went to preschool together, Gracie and a girl on the other court, went to preschool together, and they saw each other. Oh my God, went over and hugged each other. So we got to see them this year. So yeah, university is, I'll always love that school because we did some great things there.
Fun. Well, thank you again, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a great honor.
And I guess that's a wrap to volleyball for this year.
To volleyball.
It is. And it felt long this year, but I enjoyed it. So
yeah,
really looking forward for the future, though.
Yep. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. So thank you, Athletic Director Clark Kindler.
Sure.
For coming in today. So we have some changes in basketball, not wrestling. So we're headed into wrestling and basketball, but basketball has some changes this year.
We're now a 3A school, and we've changed leagues, so we're going to play some we'll play brand new teams, and there will be some teams that traditionally we've played that are not on the schedule this year. So it'll be a little bit different.
Yes. And so who is our league? Can you name them?
Yep. I'll try to. Roaring Fork, Grand Valley, and then the 4 schools down south, Gunnison, Olathe, Cedar Ridge, and North Fork.
Oh, okay.
So a 7-team league. We're going to play each other twice. Both games count in the league standings.
Okay.
Good. And so I was concerned you were going to get Delta, but they must have gone up as well.
Yes. With the change to make the 6 classes, the bigger 3A schools went up to 4A.
Good.
Like Aspen, Basalt, Moffat County, Delta, they all went up to 4A.
Okay.
Oh, good. And so the girls' league and the boys' league, they're the same, right?
Yes. The only change in the girls' league is Aspen will be in the girls' league.
Okay.
Aspen has not played a varsity schedule in, 2 or 3 years, and they're coming back into the playing varsity, so they granted them, how we sometimes do the play down.
Right.
They get the play down.
Yeah, like we did Gunnison for football
Yes,
for 4 years. That should be. Anyway, but
That's a sore spot.
so then are there any, so volleyball had some changes this year to the brackets at state. Are there anything like that happening for basketball?
No, the thing that'll be different, and it would have been the same in 2A also, is it used to be that you'd go to district and you'd qualify 4 teams at districts or 3 teams last year. You only qualify 1 team out of districts, and then everyone else is picked with the seeding index that we used for all the other sports, which is RPI and Max Preps.
Right.
Okay, and they take 32, right?
32 teams, yes.
Okay.
And the thing that'll be a little bit different is if you win your district tournament and you are in the top 16 in RPI in the seeding index, you get to host regionals.
Oh, good.
So that's something, I think that it's like that in 3A. I know it is in 2A. I'll have to look. Anyway, when they bracket you on the 1 through 32 in 2A, it used to be that we would play regionals and then reseed. In 3A, once they bracket you 1 through 32, that's the state tournament.
Oh.
The first 2 rounds were at a home site with 4 teams like we did in 2A, but it's not reseeded. It's the bracket will come out and it'll be a 32-team bracket.
Well, that actually makes it a little bit easier.
It does, and the thing that's different too about 3A is when you get to the state tournament on Thursday, if you lose, you're done.
Oh.
Where they do not do they do what's called a modified consolation bracket. They don't go back and play the losers outs games in the consolation championship.
Okay.
So that'll be different. But if you make the Final 4, they do play the 3rd place game.
Oh, okay, great. And like you said, we're not playing some of our traditional teams, and one of them happens to be Rangeley,
Right.
unfortunately, this year.
Right.
And
The thing with the girls is the girls play 14 league games, and there's the 3 games at the shootout, so they only have really 2 non-league games.
and who do you know?
That it's going to be Snake River, home and home with Snake River.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And yeah, so I was talking to Coach Mergelman from Rangeley, and she was attempting to get some kind of foundation game together.
We might do a foundation game with them. We're still trying to find dates, and it's one of those that it's kind of been on the back burner, and now that it's on the front burner, we'll see if we can work out a date.
Right. Well, that would be good. It's kind of strange, but I guess that's what happens when we grow and expand. And the whole reason, I don't know that we said this yet, is because we're going to 6 leagues or 6
classifications in
yeah,
basketball.
Which is
And they're
nice.
going to try this out and see how it works. And if it's kind of 50-50, I think, whether we're going to keep it or not, from talking to other higher-ups. There's a couple glitches with it. There's a couple there's some problems with 4A leagues with the 6 classifications. Some not travel concerns, but just like 3 teams in a league. And like in 6A basketball, Fruta is a 6A basketball team. Their nearest opponent is Denver.
I was going to say they're
They're the only 6A team within, 200?
Yeah.
200 miles, and that might be a problem. We'll wait and see. They'll obviously play the junction schools in non-league and all that, but if it works out, though, we'll probably add 6A in volleyball also.
Well, see, and they even did that in football this year. Like the 4 teams in junction were all in different leagues.
Right.
Even in football. So,
right.
So it may not be as difficult just because their leagues were over in Denver.
You're right. Yes.
So there may be a glitch that, or it may work out okay.
It might. And that's they talked about it at the last, it's called Legislative Council, and I'm on the council where you vote for the new policies. And someone brought up volleyball, and they said, well, let's see if basketball works first before we start jumping into this. But so there's talk about volleyball going to 6 classifications, and we'll wait and see how it plays out.
The big benefit about that is then, like for volleyball, you have 12 more teams that are going to qualify for state and give them an opportunity. If you
That's
have,
right.
which is nice.
But the reason why they're thinking about it is CHSAA kind of has a policy that once you get above 64, 65 teams in a classification, you add another one. Oh. That's kind of the benchmark of, hey, we probably need another class. They decided to do basketball first. When you look at volleyball across the board is 70-plus schools in all 5 classes.
So it is time.
It might be time.
Yes.
And who knows when they do the volleyball numbers, because we are the smallest 3A school, just the way the numbers crunched out. There's a chance with 73 schools, who knows where volleyball would land in that.
Yes.
Just because we went up in basketball doesn't mean we'd go up in volleyball, and would have to wait and see how it kind of shakes out.
Right. And so, speaking of that and being on the Legislative Council, I believe your next meeting, is it in January?
Yes, it is. We have 2 now. You have 2 a year.
Yes. And one of the big topics, CHSAA irritated me about a month ago on Facebook. Sorry. But they posted this thing about we're going to do immediate, we're going to come up with some immediate needs for refs and umpires and stuff.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about raising their pay, and which is needed, I think. I don't know how that falls. I don't know how they get paid or any of that. And then it went on to say, we're going to vote on it in January, which at that point in time was like 3 months later, and enacted in 2023. And I was like, well, that's not so immediate, but okay. But it would be good for these, any sport to maybe have a bump in pay. It might entice people.
It's kind of the legislative process.
Yeah.
Is, it's going to be a burden on some schools. And so therefore, for budgets and all that, those types of things, we've got to approve that through our legislative council.
I was just going to ask that. So on non-CHSAA games, so obviously non-playoff games, the school is it's their responsibility to pay for the refs.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one of the home team's responsibilities.
All right. But it works out in the end, because one year it's away, the next year it's home.
It does.
It just works out.
Yes, it does. It's you still want to play it home if you can. It's not, that's part of the reason why you charge a gate, is the gate offsets your officials' costs and helps pay for some other things also. It just doesn't make us break even, but
that's something I think a lot of the spectators need to know, because there's a lot of times they're going, well, why are we paying? It's home and all that. It's for the refs and for other ones.
It is. It helps.
And the electricity and, whatever it may be.
It helps offset costs.
Exactly.
It does.
And so, obviously, I think wrestling probably has the most refs, like if you have a tournament at home, or football, right, at any one time. On average, like, what does a football game cost to have all of 4 or 5 or however many are on the field?
Probably about $300. The officials get roughly, and the officials roughly get about $50 a game. It's a little bit different. I'm just using a kind of a standard number.
The person who drives, though, gets a bit more and stuff like that.
So 5 officials at $50 a game, that's $250. For varsity football, you have 5 officials. And then the one guy, sometimes 2 guys might get mileage. Mileage it's like 45 cents a mile. both ways. So that's, roughly another $50. It's a little bit over $300 because I think basketball officials, I believe, and maybe even football, are it's now $60 for a varsity game, and it's like $48 for a JV game, something like that. Varsity gets more than to do a varsity game. It's more than a JV game.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
And that's expected.
And when they talk about raising pay, they're not going to raise the game rate that much. It'll go up a little bit. We've already raised that. It's like a step increase every year. So that's going to go up a couple dollars a game. What they are thinking about is paying all 5 officials the mileage. Is kind of putting something in there because if you come from Steamboat to Meeker to work a basketball game, football's really not that time consuming as a varsity basketball game. Is to pay those guys the mileage because it's an hour and a half from Steamboat to Meeker, or an hour even from Craig to Meeker. Then you have to work 3 games. You usually sit a game. You work 2 games, and there's 3 games going on. 2 JV, the girls varsity and the boys varsity. So you work 2 games, and then you've got an hour ride home. So that when you do that, $60 a game or $40, $100 a night times by 6 hours. That's
not very much.
The hourly rate needs to improve a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's not even minimum wage.
Yeah. Yes, and it's Chuck Nissen, who is the assigner out in Grand Junction, he's on the committee, and they're working some different things and to try to make it better.
Yes. Well, that's good, and I hope that they can get something accomplished and brainstorm and come up with a ton of ideas to get us some more refs and
the
stuff.
new CHASA head of the officials, his name's Mike Book, and he's an ex-official, and he's really got some great ideas that he's trying to implement. That it's not one that we're just sitting back and going, "Gosh, we've got a shortage of officials. We need to get more officials." He's got some ideas. There's a task force. And Chuck is on that task force with people from all 4 corners of the state that are meeting, and what do we have to do? And sometimes the teams on the East Slope, on the Plains, they don't realize what the travel is like here on the Western Slope. Right. And there's been a little bit of, you guys really have to travel that far. The officials really have to travel that far to do games. And we're like, yeah, that's why we kind of need to pay a mileage.
Right. Yeah. They have to go like maybe 10 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Towns, so.
Exactly. And they're kind of realizing that a little bit.
Oh, that's
Now,
good.
is the shortage the same? I mean, I know for softball and for football and that we've had really bad. Is this the same with basketball, or is it not quite as bad?
It's not quite as bad in basketball. The problem with football is everyone plays on Friday night.
Right.
Basketball, you space out. We basically play 6 nights a week at times. So that helps a little bit. I don't really think that there's going to be problems with them calling us on Monday and saying, "Hey, you've got to move your Friday game to a different day." I don't think that's going to be a problem like it has been in the other sports. And for the most part, like I said, it's just basketball spreads out a little bit, where football, everyone wants Friday night.
Yeah.
And you have to have 5 for 1 game.
Yes.
So
yep.
Instead of 3 typically.
Yes,
for basketball.
and like we get our officials out of the Craig area. The Yampa Valley Association is where we get them out of. They basically have I think 3 3 full football crews. Well, if Steamboat, Craig, Hayden, Sirocco, and Meeker all play on Friday night, they can't cover the game. That's why we sometimes have to. That's why there's sometimes a problem there.
Gotcha.
And sometimes, yeah, it's.
Well, it's sometimes in basketball, if that's a problem, we'll call up the Glenwood Association and say, "Hey, can you guys send us some officials for this game?" And usually we can cover that game. Or every once in a while at the shootout, we'll get officials out of Grand Junction for a day.
Oh, nice. Yes. Which, so shifting a little bit to wrestling, I mean, I don't know that there's any big changes in wrestling this year.
The one big change, though, is we've got new weight classes.
Oh, well. Yeah, that
And,
one.
It's just a minor one.
Yeah, which I would like to say that I could spout them off to you, but I can't. It's like
JC and I have gone over it. I can't.
It's like it's normal, I think, all the way up to 132, and then it goes 138, 144, where it was 145, right? And then there's 2 in the 50s, or maybe there's 2 in the 60s. There's 170. There's no 180s. A 192.15. I happen to know that one, and 285s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest change. As far as our schedule goes, it's pretty much the same as it has been that it was last year.
No, not quite. We don't have to go to center this year.
No, we don't.
Oh, thank goodness.
So far.
Oh, thank goodness.
So far, that is one that we did throw in last minute last year. So
That was last minute.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the Grand Valley Duels instead of going to center. I don't even know if it's the same weekend because the weekend's there's one weekend that we have off that we're not going to a tournament. And I
Right.
can't remember if that's the same weekend or if we changed weekends.
And then we are back home, not home, but we're back in our home league or conference for regionals again.
Regionals will be in Hayden.
Yes. And
That's a little bit nicer than having to drive completely
To-
across the state.
Del Norte.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes. They've got great facilities. It's just the one concern is
No hotels?
hotels, and there's a chance we might have to stay over depending on when we finish on Friday night, what time we have to be back for weigh-ins on Saturday.
Yeah.
That
hopefully.
stuff's not out yet, but
Yeah.
there's if we got to do what's best for kids.
Right. That one year that Meeker hosted it, and we actually had some weight classes on Friday and some weight classes on Saturday, it was really actually quite handy.
That was done because of COVID. though. Yes.
Right. Yes.
But-
But you went in, you wrestled for the day, you're done,
You're right.
and you got to sleep in or not sleep in, and yeah.
The good news with that is since that COVID is now if it's your turn to host regionals, it used to be that we'd go to Junction or Montrose.
Montrose, which is actually a really nice
It
facility.
is. But the 3A's decided that they were going to go to a home site, and Montrose isn't. It's too big for just one classification.
Right. It was always 2A.
So now, if you've noticed the last 2 years, the team that is responsible for putting it on has said, well, we're just going to host it, which is kind of cool because when it comes our turn to do it, if everyone else is hosting, Meeker's going to host it too. I can guarantee you that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. So
JC and I have already talked about that.
yeah, it's just so good for the kids. I mean, to be able to sleep in your own bed and
It is.
yeah. And so speaking of, I hope it's next year. We should shoot for that we host next year.
Oh, it's
It's already in the works.
no, they assign it, and since we hosted during the COVID year,
We're like
it
way
might
down.
be a while before it comes
Dang
back
it.
around to us.
Dang it.
Of course, it's the way that they do wrestling, though, where the top 8 or the top 12 are assigned different regionals. I know it's at least the top 8. There's a chance we might get put in a different regional where we get to host.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we go to Springfield.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
I don't
It
know.
works
Lord.
both ways. You're right.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
anywhere but way over there.
Yeah. I mean, we could, Ray would be awful. Although, I mean, it really is. I mean, Ray has a nice facility too.
They do.
It was also bad in Ray.
And it hasn't been bad this year. I've gone to 2 parts of the state that I've never been to. I'd never been to Ray. I had been to Nebraska, or else I would have went to Nebraska to say I've been there. I really would have, but I've already been there. And going to where softball
Lamar.
went.
Lamar.
Going to Lamar, I'd never been in that corner, so it's been a good fall for me for getting to see different parts of the state.
Yes. Yes. Well, and the weather was nice, so that's all. I'm very thankful about that. It wasn't-
Yes.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Kindler,
Sure.
for coming in and
Yes.
speaking with us and talking about all things. And,
Sure.
Today's your first day of practice. I'm imagining, the boys had a week off, so they better be there.
Yep. I got a text from play. I won't throw him under the bus, but I got a text from a player last night that says, "Man, this is a really dumb question, but do we start tomorrow?"
You're like, yes,
And
yes,
when I
we
said
do.
yes at 4:15, he texted back and said, "All right, great." So At least he's planning on being there.
Yes. Well, it's, wrestling, basketball, courts are going to be filled, rooms are going to be filled. It'll be a good time.
Yep. Looking forward to getting it started.
Yes, and then we'll see you in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about the shootout.
Okay, perfect.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, you bet.
Well, I can't believe that. Cravens is always fun to talk to, and Clark has like the radio voice. It's
he does.
Super annoying.
It's so good. It makes us mad.
Yeah, it's so nice. Yeah, but so informative. Both of them. I just love to have them on. So, again, we'll have Coach Kindler back in 2 weeks, and hopefully, I haven't actually invited this person yet, but hopefully we'll have Dale Dunbar at the same time so that we can discuss the shootout, sponsored by White River Electric Association, and Dale's been a huge part of that for decades, I believe.
And the shootout is just so amazing.
It
to be able to
is.
get teams that we would not normally wouldn't play.
Right.
It's just great.
Yes, and I think that we will, talk about who those are. Usually, some of the traditionals are that Denver team, who's Lotus,
right,
and then Aspen are some of our traditionals. So hopefully, those guys will be able to make it up this year. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to have Coach Rogers and a wrestling coach. Don't know which one yet.
Okay.
A wrestling coach, right.
One of them will be here.
One of them, yes, which will be nice because, both of those coaches, and when we get to Coach Kindler again, they'll know exactly who's out on the team, and we'll be able to have some discussions about that. So, though, without further ado, I guess we better come up with an athlete of the week. Not come up with, because we've already decided.
Yeah, we already know.
Yeah. But, there is a lot when you talk about an athlete of the week. And one of the biggest things is leadership out on the court. And sometimes there's some beautiful, quiet leadership, right? Through strength of not just play, but strength of spirit and composure. And you just can't ask for a better player than somebody who's extremely coachable and likable, and then, the girls can relate to. And this girl happens to be the shortest person on the team, maybe. Sorry, Ellie. And
not by a ways. There's some other ones, but yeah.
But you would not know. I don't know if you saw that picture of Ellie Hosick, by the way. Congratulations on Athlete of the Week.
She gave it away.
I have that picture of her, and she's dumping the ball over the net. And wow, I think that her hands might be above the net, and I'm super impressed with that.
She's got some hops.
She does, yes. And so congratulations, Ellie. It's a pleasure watching you. And we couldn't be prouder to make you Athlete of the Week. And good luck at basketball.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's everything for this week.
Yep.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.